Hey guys, what's going on? Counterspell Hater here, back with another EDH guide. Uh, I'm this time showcasing Kaalia of the Vast 2022 edition. So for one generic, a red, white, and a black, uh, Kaalia of the Vast is a legendary human cleric with flying. She's 2/2, and when she attacks an opponent, may put an angel, demon, or dragon creature card from your hand onto the battlefield, tapped and attacking that opponent. So we're going to be using Kaalia here to cheat out angels, demons, and dragons with heavy costs and powerful effects. So let's get started with Anna. Anaya? I don't know. Anna. Merciless Angel. With 3 generic, a red and white. She is a legendary angel with flying for 4. And she gets +3/+3 for each opponent whose life total is less than half their starting life total. And as long as the opponent's life total is less than half their starting life total, Anna is in Anaya, I don't know, is indestructible. So since we're going to be attacking a lot, dealing probably a lot of damage thanks to our most of our creatures having flying, and then being really big heavy hitters. And now I guess here is gonna be getting buffed up. Anyways, moving on, we have the Sandra Battle Seraph. For 3 generic of red and white, she is a legendary angel with flying for 4. And she says players can't cast spells during combat. And for red, target creature attacks this turn of Fable. So nice, you're able to force some of your opponent's stuff to attack, even if they don't want them to die. And then you just block it. So like something really fragile and valuable on your opponent's side that happens to be the creature. And players can't cast spells during combat. That is very nice because then that doesn't allow your opponent to cast a Cyclonic Rift, at least during your combat. You can still do it like during main phase and stuff, but still like Teferi's Protection, Subtle Wreckage, stuff like that. Maraud, Fury of Akam. Now this isn't a card we can cheat in, obviously, because first of all, one appearance, I mean, obviously. But for 4 generic and double red, he is a legendary Minotaur warrior, 6/6, and each creature you control gets +1/+0 for each time it has attacked this turn. And then landfall. Whenever a land enters battlefield under your control, if it's your main phase, there's an additional combat phase after this phase. At the beginning of that combat, untap all creatures you control. And I believe this is any main phase, so this can be first and second main. So this helps you get multiple attack triggers off of Kaalia, get multiple demons and dragons and angels out within a turn, rather than just like one. Definitely a very good card, and it bumps up your creature's power by 1 for each time they have attacked this turn. In a turn, excuse me. Leyline Tyrant, for 2 generic and double red. It is a dragon with flying 4/4, and it says you don't lose unspent red mana at steps and phases end, which I'm not sure if that means that you can store mana throughout turns, because there's steps and phases ending, and I believe there's turns ending, which is entirely different. But whenever Leyline Tyrant dies, you may pay any amount of red mana. When you do, it deals that much damage to any target. Terror of the Peaks for 3 generic and double red is a dragon with flying 5/4 that says spells your opponent's cast at target. Terror of the Peaks costs an additional 3 life to cast. And whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, Terror of the Peaks deals damage equal to that creature's power to any target. So since we're having very hefty creatures enter in under our control thanks to Kaalia of the Vast, Terra Peaks will be triggering off and dealing a bunch of damage to any target that we wish. So Planeswalkers probably are going to be dying a lot on our opponent's side. Our opponent is going to be losing a lot of life and possibly like big creatures. Last list, Dragon Queen. With 4 generic and double red. She, I guess, is a legendary dragon with flying 6/6. And whenever another non-token dragon enters the battlefield under your control, you create a 5/5 red dragon creature token with flying. And for 1 generic and a red, dragons you control get +1/+0 until its turn. So it gives you value for playing the dragons. Scourge of Volcos. 2 generic and triple red. It is a dragon with flying 4/4. And when it or another dragon enters the battlefield under your control, it deals X damage to target creature or player, where X is the number of dragons you control. And then for a red, Scourge of Volcos gets +1/+0 until the turn. Villas, Broker of Blood. For 5 generic and triple black, he is a legendary demon with flying 8/8. And then for 1 black, you can pay 2 life, and target creature gets -1/-1 until its turn. And whenever you lose life, you draw that many cards. Damage causes loss of life, obviously, duh. This can allow you to draw cards even when you're getting hurt and possibly wipe out like small creatures, all while getting you more stuff to fuel Kaalia. So that when she attacks, you have something in your hand that you can cheat out. Like, for example, Avacyn, Angel of Hope, which for 5 generic and triple white, she is a legendary angel with flying, vigilance, and indestructible, and she gives other permanents you control indestructible, and she's an 8/8. Archangel of Tides for 1 generic and triple white. She is an angel with flying 3/5, and that as long as Archangel of Tides is untapped, creatures can't attack you or a planeswalker you control unless their controller pays 1 generic for each of those creatures. And as long as Archangel of Tides is attacking, creatures can't block unless their controller pays 1 generic for each of those creatures. It makes it very difficult for your opponents to block, and they're going to start losing a good amount of life. A Chroma, Vision of Ixidor. For 5 generic and double white, she is a legendary angel with flying, first strike, vigilance, trample, and partner, meaning that if you have 2 commanders with partner, both can be in the same deck. 6/6. At the beginning of each combat, until end of turn, each of the creatures you control gets +1/+1 if it has flying, which most of our creatures in here do. +1/+1 if it has first strike, and so on for double strike, death touch, haste, Hexproof, Indestructible, Lifelink, Menace, Protection, Reach, Trample, Vigilance, and Partner. So this might actually power up. This is going to power up a lot of our board state and award us for playing like a lot of creatures from our hand in this deck that have a bunch of keyword abilities. No. Angelic Guardian for 4 generic and double white. She is an angel with flying 5/5, and whenever 1 or more creatures you control attack, they gain indestructible until its turn. Platinum Angel for 7 generic is an artifact creature angel with flying for 4, and you can't lose the game, and your opponents can't win. Legion Angel, a very good card actually, because for 2 generic and double white, she's an angel warrior with flying 4/3, and when Legion Angel enters the battlefield, you may reveal a card you own named Legion Angel from outside the game and put it into your hand. So this can help you keep fueling Kaalia if you're running low on fuel. Maintain you until like you draw something that you need. Until then, you have Legion Angel and its ETB effect. Giving you more Legion Angels, like putting them into your hand so that you can cheat out more stuff. All in all, pretty nice. A Chroma, Angel of Wrath, even better. because for 5 generic and triple white, she's a legendary angel. 6/6 with flying, first strike, vigilance, trample, haste, protection from black and from red, meaning black and red cannot do jack to this. They cannot block it. They cannot deal damage to a Chroma. They cannot enchant a Chroma. They cannot equip a Chroma. Well, if the equipment is black or red. Like nothing at all. Oh, and black red creatures cannot block a Chroma. But that means, and that goes for everyone, meaning that you can't do anything to a Chroma if it is black or red. Sephara, Sky's Blade. For 4 generic and triple white, she's a legendary angel. 7/7 flying lifelink. Other creatures you control with flying have indestructible. So this awards you for playing this deck by giving your flyers indestructible. And you may pay a singular white and tap 4 untapped creatures you control with flying rather than pay the spell's mana cost. So if you have some summoning sick creatures and you have 1 white mana and you have this in your hand, instead of just cheating this out with Kaalia, why not cheat it out in a different way by tapping 4 untapped flyers you control that are just lying around and paying a singular white to cast a spell? Rakdos, Lord of Riots. For double black and double red, he is a legendary demon. 6/6, flying and trample. He cannot be cast unless an opponent has lost life this turn. And creature spells you cast cost 1 generic list to cast. For each 1 life your opponents have lost this turn. And due to flying and our creatures being quite very massive in power and toughness, this will be very effective in letting us cast creature spells during second main phase. Alina, Kessig Trapper. For 4 generic and red, she is a legendary human scout with first strike 4/3. And she can tap to add an amount of red mana equal to the greatest power among creatures you control that enter the battlefield this turn. So you have a big creature in thanks to being cheated out with Kaalia, then in your second main, if you need red mana, you can tap Alina here for a whole bunch of red mana. Scourge of the Throne for 4 generic and double red. It is a dragon with flying into throne 5/5, meaning that whenever this creature attacks the player with the most life or tied for most life, it gets a +1 counter put on it. And whenever it attacks for the first time each turn, now keep in mind, cheating out creatures with abilities that trigger when they attack does not cause them to trigger, especially, well, in this case, because Kaalia has them enter in tapped and attacking, meaning that they were already attacking and they were not untapped to attack, if that makes sense. But when Scourge of the Throne attacks for the first time each turn, if it's attacking the player with the most life or tied for most life, you untap all creatures, all attacking creatures, and after this phase, there's an additional combat phase. Bladewing the Risen for 3 generic, double red, and double black. I kind of said that backwards, but close enough. He is a legendary zombie dragon, flying for 4. And when Bladewing enters the battlefield, you may return target dragon permanent from your graveyard to the battlefield. So a nice dragon reanimator, 2 for 1, or for 7, I should say, or for nothing at all if you cheat this out with Kaalia, which is most likely what you're gonna do. And for black and red, dragon creatures get +1/+1 until end of turn. Now, this doesn't say your creatures, it says dragon creatures, meaning that if your opponent has dragons, then they're gonna get buffed too. So keep that in mind. Nesting Dragon for 3 generic and double red. It is a dragon with flying 5/4. Landfall. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, you create a 0/2 red dragon egg creature token with defender, and when this creature dies, create a 2/2 red dragon creature token with flying and red. This creature gets +1/+1 until it turns, so that fire breathing effect. So this is nice because it allows us to utilize our lands along with everything else. Just like Maraud, Fury of Arkham, excuse me. Balefire Dragon for 5 generic and double red is a dragon with flying 6/6, and when it deals combat damage to a player, it deals that much damage to each creature that player controls. Excuse me. Eternal Dragon for 5 generic and double white is a dragon spirit with flying 5/5 for 3 generic and double white. It can be returned from your graveyard to your hand, but only during your upkeep. Otherwise, it's no-go. And Plane Cycling for 2 generic, meaning that you discard this card to search your library for a Plains card, reveal it, and put it into your hand, then shuffle your library. So this can be nice for like early game mana ramp, and also something that you can return to your hand from your graveyard once it's died, and then like cheat out once again with Kaalia. That way you get something out for attack trigger rather than nothing. Sunscorched Regent for 3 generic and double white. It is a dragon with flying 4/3, and whenever an opponent casts a spell, you put a +1/+1 counter on Sunscorched Regent, and you gain 1 life. So utilizes what our opponents are doing. Yosei the Morning Star for 4 generic and double white is a legendary dragon spirit with flying 5/5, and whenever it enters the battlefield, whenever it is put into a graveyard from play, or I guess dies, I should say, target player skips his or her next untap step, and you tap up to 5 target permanents that player controls. Not too bad. Scale Lord Reckoner for 3 generic and double white is a dragon with flying 4/4, and whenever a dragon you control becomes the target of a spell or ability your opponent controls, destroy target non-land permanent that player controls. So your opponent starts targeting you, their stuff. You just play this, and then suddenly they're going to start losing some of their stuff. Thundermaw Hellkite for 3 generic and double red is a dragon with flying and haste 5/5, and when it enters the battlefield, it deals 1 damage to each creature with flying your opponent's control. You tap, and then you tap those creatures. So you can cheat this out with Kaalia to like kill little flyers, or before combat you can cheat this. You can play this regularly for 5 mana, and then tap down all your opponent's flyers, essentially most likely rendering them blockerless, because most of your stuff has flying. All right, Terror of Mount Velis for 5 generic and double red is a dragon with flying and double strike 5/5. When Terror of Mount Velis enters the battlefield, creature you control gain double strike until end of turn. So finisher right there. Hellkite Charger, 4 generic and double red is a dragon with flying and haste 5/5. Got kind of lost there. And whenever it attacks, you may pay 5 generic and double red. And if you do, you untap all attacking creatures. And after this phase, there's an additional combat phase. Steel Hellkite for 6 generic is an artifact creature dragon with flying, and it's a 5/5. And then for 2 generic, you can give it +1/+0 until end of turn. And then for X, you destroy each non-land permanent with converted mana cost X, whose controller was dealt combat damage by Steel Hellkite this turn, but you activate this ability only once each turn, so you can really screw your opponent over and just like pay 0, and if they have a bunch of tokens, bye. Also like mana, yeah. Daedric Silver Quill for 3 generic, a white and a black, is a legendary. He is a legendary Elder Dragon with flying and double strike 2/5. At the beginning of combat on your turn, you may choose 2. Each mode must target a different player. So the first mode is target player creates a 2/1 white and black Inkling creature token with flying. The other is target player draws a card and loses 1 life. The last one is target player puts a +1/+1 counter on each creature they control. So obviously you're gonna have that last one targeting your creatures, and maybe like give your opponent a flyer, or have them lose life and draw a card that could be useless. Make sure it benefits you. That's what I'm trying to say. Udvara Hellkite. I've been saying this wrong. I apologize. For 6 generic and double red, is a dragon with flying 6/6, and whenever a dragon you control attacks, you create a 6/6 red dragon creature token with flying. And if you are able to somehow get like a creature in here that adds like 3 and Breath of Fury and Whisper Silk Cloak, then you've got that infinite combo again. If you haven't seen that video, go watch the infinite combo video I did. Kaalia, the Storm's Fury, for 3 generic, a black and a red. He is a legendary dragon with flying, 4/5. And whenever a dragon you control attacks, creatures you control get +1 +0 until end of turn. And then Dash for 3 generic, a black and a red, meaning that you may play this, you may cast a spell for its dash cost. If you do, it gains haste, and it's returned from the battlefield to its owner's hand at the beginning of the next hand step. So if you're impatient, then. Boltwing Marauder for 3 generic, a black and a red. It is a dragon with flying 5/4, excuse me. And whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, target creature gets +2 +0 until in turn. So utilizing the creature sweet sheet out into play with Kaalia even more by buffing them up, or like other unblocked creatures. Opportunistic Dragon for 2 generic and double red is a dragon with flying 4/3 that when it enters the battlefield, you choose target human or artifact that an opponent controls, and then for as long as Opportunistic Dragon remains on the battlefield, you gain control of that permanent. However, it loses all abilities and it can't attack or block, so it renders it useless, but still not bad. It can kind of shut your opponent down. Dragon's Horde for 3 generic is an artifact that says whenever a dragon enters the battlefield under your control, you put a gold counter on Dragon's Horde, and then you can tap to remove a gold counter from it and draw a card, or you can tap it to add 1 mana of any one color for mana fixing. So this can be nice to draw you cards, keep the value up with Kaalia by drawing you into demons, dragons, and or angels they may need. Moonveil Dragon for 3 generic and triple red is a dragon with flying and 5/5. And then for red, each creature you control gets +1 +0 until end of turn. So nice and cheap. You can buff up your whole board. So you cheat this out with Kaalia, and then you could possibly end the game. Who knows? Razaketh, the Foul-Blooded, 5 generic and triple black. He is a legendary demon with flying and trample, 8/8. And then you can pay 2 life and sacrifice another creature to him to search your library for a card, and put that card into your hand. That you'll shuffle your library, excuse me. So pretty useful if you have something that's flying around, not doing anything, no good for you, and you just want to like maybe get rid of it, or it's just like shut down. Just sacrifice it to Razaketh and pay 2 life. And then bang, you've got like something probably better. Lord of the Void for 4 generic and triple black. It is a demon with flying, and when it deals combat damage to a player, you exile the top 7 cards of that player's library, and then put a creature card from among them onto the battlefield under your control. It's a 7/7, so this can also hurt a lot. Odd Nixels, the Unshackled. For 4 generic and double black, he is a legendary demon with flying and trample, 4/4. And whenever an opponent searches his or her library, that player sacrifices a creature and loses 10 life. So that's going to come at a cost if they're going to try and ramp. And whenever another creature dies, you put a +1/+1 counter on Odd Nixels, Unshackled. Rock Sasha. I have no idea how to pronounce that first one. Debaser for 4 generic and double black. It is a cat demon, 6/6. And when it is attacked, you put target creature card from the defending player's graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. So this is a demon reanimator. Very deadly because you cheat this out. It's attacking. So then next time you untap and then you attack with this and it triggers. So then that's possibly another body that could be very lethal to your opponent's board or to them. And an encore of 6 generic and double black, meaning that you exile this card by paying that much mana, and then you create a token that is a copy of this creature, in this instance, Rakshasa, I have no idea, the baser, and you create a token that's a copy, you create a token of it for each opponent you control. Sorry, excuse me, I was complicating that. Real Reckoner of Souls, for 4 generic, white, a black, and a red. She is a legendary creature, angel with flying and vigilance, 4/7, and can tap to choose a creature card at random from target opponent's graveyard and put that card on the battlefield under your control. So nice reanimator, very deadly sometimes. Kaalia is a seeker for red, a white, and a black. She is a legendary human cleric with flying and vigilance, 3/3. And when she enters the battlefield, you look at the top 6 cards of your library and you may reveal an angel card, a demon card, and or a dragon card from among them and put them into your hand and put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. So nice hand refill. Aurelia, the war leader, for 2 generic, double red and double white. She's a legendary angel with flying, vigilance, and haste, 3/4. And when she attacks, for the first time each turn, you untap all creatures you control. And after this phase, there's an additional combat phase. So once again, allowing for more triggers off of Kaalia of the Vast. Ob Nixilis the Fallen, for 3 generic, double black. He is a legendary demon with landfall, 3/3. Meaning that whenever a land enters the battlefield, he triggers off. In this case, you may have target player lose 3 life, and then if you do, you put 3 +1/+1 counters on Ob Nixilis the Fallen, which why wouldn't you? You're draining your opponents and you're making Ob Nixilis pretty dang big. So pretty nice. He unfortunately doesn't have flying. But Rindscar Demon, for 5 generic and double black, it is a demon with flying, 6/6, and when it enters the battlefield, you search your library for a card, put it into your hand, that's over your library. So you can search for something pretty scary like Shadow Grange Archfiend, for 6 generic and black. It is a demon that's when it enters the battlefield, each opponent sacrifices a creature with the greatest power among creatures they control, and then you gain life equals the greatest power among creatures sacrificed this way. So it can gain you a lot of life and madness of 2 generic, a black, and pay 8 life. So meaning that if you discard this card, you discard it into exile, and then you can put it into your graveyard or cast it for its madness cost, which is a pretty cheap. It's pretty cheap mana-wise, but in a sense of life, that's kind of hefty. But it's well worth it for an 8/4. Then Nightmare Shepherd for 2 generic and double black is an enchantment creature demon with flying, 4/4. And whenever another non-human creature you control dies, you may exile it. If you do, you create a token copy of that creature, except it's a 1/1 and it's a nightmare in addition to its other types. So reanimate your creatures except for 1/1s. A little less powerful, but still, maybe not too bad. Isella, Blade of Gold Knight, for 4 generic, red, and double white. She's a legendary angel with flying and first strike, 5/5. And if a source would deal damage to an opponent or a permanent an opponent controls, that source deals double that damage to that player or opponent instead. And if a source would deal damage to you or a opponent you control, prevent half that damage rounded up. So it kind of downgrades the damage that is dealt to you and your opponents, and upgrades the damage that is dealt to your opponents and their stuff, making it easier to kill them. Then we get into non-basic lands. Myriad Landscape. It enters battlefield tapped, and then you can tap it for a colorless, or for 2 generic, you can tap it and sacrifice it and search your library for up to 2 basic land cards that share a land type. Put them onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle your library. Spine Rock Knoll Hideaway. This land enters the battlefield tapped, and when it does, you look at the top 4 cards of your library. You may exile 1 face down, and then put the rest on the bottom of your library. It can tap to add a red, or for red, it can tap. You may play the exile card without paying its mana cost. If an opponent was dealt 7 or more damage this turn, and due to our creatures and their size, this is highly plausible and possible. Nykthos, Shrine to Nyx. It's a legendary land that can tap for a colorless, or for 2 generic, it can tap and you choose a color. And then you add to your mana pool an amount of mana of that color equal to your devotion to that color. So your devotion to a color is the number of mana symbols of that color in the mana cost of permanents you control. Since most of our stuff is like double red, double white, or like triple white, triple red, triple black, whatever have you, this is going to benefit us a lot in getting us like mana we may need of like certain colors. So if we're lacking like white, black, or red, this can really fix us up. Isolated Watchtower. It's a land that doesn't come in tapped, and it can tap for a colorless, or for 2 generic, it can tap, allowing you to destroy 1, meaning that you look at the top card of your library, and then you decide whether it goes on top or on the bottom of your library, and then you reveal the top card of your library after that. And then if that card just so happens to be a basic land and is revealed in this way, you put it onto the battlefield tapped, and you can only activate this ability if an opponent controls at least 2 or more lands than you, and we are not in the right colors to ramp in a sense of lands, unlike someone I know, green, then, which means this is going to help out a lot. Urborg, Tomb of Yawgmoth. Y'all know the combo. If you haven't, I'll just quickly explain. Each land is a swamp in addition to its other land types, and then we have Cabal Coffers to go along with it, which for 2 generic, it can tap to add a black mana to your mana pool for each swamp you control. So, and since everything is a swamp thanks to Urborg, Tomb of Yawgmoth, you're going to be getting a lot of black mana added to your mana pool. Windbrisk Heights, Hideaway, except it's in white, so it can tap for white, or for white, it can tap and you play the exile card without paying its mana cost. Only if you attacked with 3 or more creatures this turn, and with us building a big demon, angel, and angelic, demonic, and draconic army. This is most likely going to happen. So that means we will get another free card out of this. Sunhome, Fortress of the Legion. It can tap to add a colorless, or for 2 generic, a red, and a white. It can tap to give target creature double strike until end of turn. So that means if you have like an unblocked creature, you can then use this if you have the mana to do so and give that creature double strike, making it even more effective when dealing damage to your opponent at that time. Volrath Stronghold. It's a legendary land that can tap for a colors, or for 1 generic and a black. You can put target creature card from your graveyard on top of your library. So if like powerful stuff you once had is like dying a bunch, you can start putting those cards back on top of your library so that you can draw them again and cheat them out once again with Kaalia of the Vast. Vault of the Archangel. It can tap for a colorless, or for 2 generic, a white and a black. It can tap to give creatures you control Death Touch and Lifelink until end of turn. And finally, Thawing Glaciers to help us ramp because Aaron's battlefield tapped. And then for 1 generic, it can tap and search your library for a basic land card. Put that card onto the battlefield tapped, and then shuffle your library. And then you return falling glaciers to its owner at the beginning of the next cleanup step or end step, I should say. And then we have our 13 mountains, basic mountains, our 13 basic plains, and our 13 basic swamps. And with all of that, the end of this EDH guide starring Kaalia the Vast 2022 edition. I hope you enjoyed this Commander / EDH guide. I love you all who are supporting me. Keep the view count going up. I don't want it to stop going up. Come on, guys. We're only at like 9 subscribers. We're like one away from 10, and then we can do a 10 sub special of some sort. I'll arrange something for that. But anyways, guys, that's going to be it for today. Hope you all enjoyed. And remember, no counter spells. Oh, don't forget to like and subscribe, hit the notification bell, comment on this video, and share this video with others.